Hi everybody, welcome to the live session for today's very exciting topic, the burning questions of property.
Yes.
Together with me, we have Thomas and Nicholas.
Yes, hi
Hello,
guys.
hi guys.
Maybe you all like to introduce yourself a bit.
Okay, so my name is Thomas. I've been a property agent for 15 years. I started TikTok during COVID, and I've been making videos ever since, and have been helping quite a lot of clients to meet clients and help them to buy sell houses through TikTok as well.
Wow, fantastic, huh?
Very
Yeah.
You get your clients from TikTok?
I get actually quite a lot of clients on TikTok.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
and I do a lot of new launches and private transactions.
And for those of you who are following Thomas Tong, I believe you know his consistency. Like videos is literally every single day. Sometimes there's more than one
Yeah,
a day,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's crazy.
It's
Yes.
what we call a content realtor.
Content real talk,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So every time I like somebody asks me a question, I answer the question, and then I just thought, it just surprises me that people don't know. So
Right.
the things that we see as agents, sometimes it might be new to other people.
We
so
will
Yes.
see it as norm.
Yeah, we
right?
see it as norm.
because we're dealing with real
Because
estate
we are
daily
in
basis.
the trade, so the
Yeah.
experience really helps.
Yes.
So one question for you.
Yeah.
It's out of real estate.
Yes.
Anyone actually contacted you to be their personal trainer?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Because it's really very buff, and I think this is a very nice looking real estate advisor. When I go out, I want to be like you.
Okay, so together with us, we also have Nicholas. Now, Nicholas is nicknamed as Nicholas the TikTok agent, that TikTok agent.
Yes, because I think I started TikTok just a couple, maybe one year ago, and started talking about real estate content. And I think what I really want to do is to educate people, like you mentioned, right? A lot of people actually do not know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And then only when we really do up the content and try to educate, and these are part and parcel of my journey of helping my clients.
Yeah.
So I told them, hey, actually you could do this, you could do that, and then they were like, oh wow, can ah? So I think I decided to start this channel so that we can actually share.
Yeah.
So whatever that I go through, whatever that I experience, whatever that that knowledge that it might be seem very obvious to us,
Right.
I share it so that everyone can benefit from it.
Yeah, I've watched both of your channels and they're all very helpful. I think the information that you shared is really amazing. So our viewers out there, if you have not followed them, please follow now. Click that follow button. All right.
Smash it.
Smash it. Okay, so today we want to talk a little bit something about the movement, the market trend, etc. Right. So maybe let's start off with something that is in the resale, but it has really been snapped up like crazy. And that particular video that Thomas you did, right,
Yeah.
crossed 1 million views. Okay, and tell us something about 11 at Holland.
Okay, so one fine day, I received a text from a tagger at 11 at Holland. So
Yes.
it's telling me that there is this bungalows, semi-detached and
Yeah.
bungalows,
Yeah.
going for $1,000 per square feet.
Right.
So that caught my eye.
Yes.
So I was like talking to some of my clients about it,
Right.
and then some of them were interested. So I went down,
Yeah.
and to my surprise, when I went down, it was a Saturday morning, like
Yes.
8 to 9 a.m.
Yeah.
There were so many agents outside 11 at Holland, and then there were like a lot of people trying to drive into the condo. Then I was like, oh my god, what's happening?
I saw that video you did.
Yeah.
Wow, it was like crime scene.
Yes, it's like on 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like right. I mean, okay, to be honest, the location is quite secluded. Like
Right.
right smack in the middle of nowhere, nothing.
Right.
So many people trying to get in. So I went in. So I brought my clients there. We
Yeah.
saw the property. We walked around.
Okay.
And then after that, I was like, I need to take a video of what's happening right now.
Okay.
And that video went viral.
And it's really a random video, right?
It's
It's
really a
not
random
really
video.
even a proper setup
It's
video,
not his
right?
usual
Yes,
It's not
style.
usual.
I just took out my phone, front camera, put it there, and shot the background and me talking about it.
Right.
And we're just talking about the characteristic of the property.
Right.
Like $1,000 per square feet. To a lot of people, it's like, wow, hey, why you never show me? Why you
It's
never tell me?
old
Okay.
price.
Yeah.
So here's the amazing thing that I want to share now. Firstly, right, it's right smack in District 10.
Yes.
Okay, in the Holland area vicinity. Secondly, it is only at 1,000 per square foot. And if you're talking about landed in Singapore, right, literally you can't find anything that is around 1,000 per square foot. However, because this is cluster housing,
Yes.
so
That's
it
all.
is based on the build up instead of the land. Okay, so this is the main difference. And more importantly, the quantum itself, that means the absolute price that the buyer is buying, right, is
Yes.
super attractive because it's between 3.7 million to 4.4 million range.
That's right.
And it is pretty unlikely you can even get an inter-terrace for that price tag. So
In
so
that
they,
area,
yes, yes, almost any part of Singapore.
In fact, I think some condos also can't beat that price.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no more $1,000.
Exactly, exactly. If you are going into District 10 for maybe a 3,000 per square foot, for maybe 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, right? It's unlikely you can even get that price. Yeah. Yeah.
So the I guess that like what you say is correct. Right? The bare minimum entry into a sort of a landed living there, the price tag is high.
Yeah.
Obviously because of the schools,
Yeah.
because of the district and the affluence of the people living there.
Right.
Yeah.
So did your buyer manage to secure a unit?
No. So that actually taught me a lesson as well.
Right.
What
Because
happened?
They
What lesson did you learn?
okay, so I mean it's quite usual that people would want to think about it,
Right.
and then after they thought about it, then it was like pretty much all gone.
Mm.
Like even before I posted the TikTok video, on the same day, in that morning,
Yeah.
they were like left with 2-3 units, and then the client was like, then there's nothing much to
It
do.
was already very chaotic, I think. So I think
Yeah, it was very
the
chaotic.
margin to think really
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
killed it.
and also because some people are pandan, because it's looking into that I don't know what you call that, the place where you put the urn.
Oh.
It's a crematorium.
No, it's not a crematorium. It's the place where they put the ashes after.
Right.
Yeah.
Just for housing it.
Just the
Just for
house lah.
housing it. It's like a temple kind of
That's
thing.
another kind of condos.
Yeah.
lah.
I see.
So it just taught me a lesson like if you are pandan and you didn't buy, and if the price went up, then it's a pity lah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day we are clear of the objective. But if you're buying for investment,
Yeah.
then it's
But we think about it for that kind of size that we are talking about
Yeah.
for landed property, whether it's cluster, whether it's pure landed, I think people are looking into size, especially after COVID situation where people really appreciate size.
Yes,
Yeah.
working from home has
Yeah.
been the norm and people really want that kind of
Yep.
size to
Yep.
stay in.
and it has a lift as well.
Oh yeah.
And it's slightly different from a lot of the clusters that I've seen because one of the main objections for cluster is that it's a vertical spread.
Uh-huh.
So the size is split into like 5 different levels.
Wow.
But that one I felt it was still pretty spacious.
Okay,
It's a bit
fantastic.
decent lah. It's not the
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
stack.
Yeah. So today we are so excited talking about this, right? We shall move on to a second segment, which is a condo, but it's also a resale.
Yes.
Bencoolen.
Oh,
You know the
okay.
Bencoolen is almost 30 years old, right? And
30 years old.
yeah, almost.
Yes,
It's about 28 lah. So you know there's these 60 units in one particular tower put up for sale by a single owner.
Yes.
And you know we have 60 units for sale.
Yeah.
And in just 3 weeks, right, we managed to sell out 50 over units. So right now, as we are talking, right, we are left with 4 units and potentially tomorrow may get another closing. So
Wow.
you can see how fast the take-up rate, and it's just within a month plus.
Wait, you tell me
timeframe.
there's 60 units available.
Yeah,
And how long did it take to sell?
50 units.
Yeah. How long did it take
3
to sell?
weeks.
3 weeks and we sold 50 units.
Yeah.
Wow. So what are the balance units now?
Left 4 units, but we want to talk about the fascinating thing about the take-up rate.
Yeah.
Because for a matter of fact, all these units are tenanted, so we only have like 2 units or 3 units there about
That are-
vacant
Oh.
that's able to
So
view.
they are all tenanted.
Yes,
So you're
majority.
basically buying with tenancy. Well, that's
Yes,
a great
okay,
deal,
so
man.
the amazing thing is that you see, first thing you must understand is that they are tenanted. Second thing is that buyers are buying without viewing because they are tenanted, so they can't view.
Yes, yes.
And this is the amazing part where people are actually able to commit on a resale almost 30 years without viewing. Isn't it amazing?
I think it's very amazing.
You mean
Yeah.
there were people who bought without viewing?
All bought without viewing.
Oh, because they were tenanted. is it?
yes, they were tenanted.
Yeah, all tenanted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So basically buying for investment, I guess.
No, in fact, most of them are actually wanting for own stay.
Wow, that is incredible. Like
Yeah.
without even viewing.
Yeah.
I think there's also this thought process where just across the street,
Yeah.
we've got the midtowns,
Of
and the
course.
midtowns are like what coming $3,000 per square feet.
I mean, if you're looking at the brand new one, I think the
Yes.
closest we can think of is the M.
The
Yeah,
M.
which is very centralized.
It's
It's
very
in
central.
Prime District 7, and
Yes.
the pricing over there is like close
So
to
it's a premium,
close to 3,000 per square foot already. So
Yeah.
So actually this is a really good deal lah. I mean, I guess these buyers are really very smart and they know something that they want. They see a good deal, they go in for it. I think
Yeah.
that's the key.
yeah.
They are ready.
And those who are considering like what you shared
Yeah,
earlier
yeah.
on, right?
Yeah.
They literally
They don't
can't.
stand a chance.
They don't stand a chance at all.
Yeah, but sometimes, right,
Mm.
it's very interesting because because sometimes the buyers
Mhm.
need to kind of miss a few of such deals.
Yeah.
And
You
then
feel the pain.
Yeah, then after that, right, they
Must
will act
kena
on the
already
next
first
one.
lah.
Yeah.
Right.
Must kena.
But then as agents, we have to advise these people because
Yeah.
if they miss a few and they act on the next one, it's highly likely going to be an emotional
It's a rebound lah, rebound.
rebound, right? Yeah. So we have to tell them like, hey, you know, you gotta take it easy and still be objective.
Right.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Right.
No, I think that's our job lah, to make sure that the emotion overtake the
Yeah.
logic.
Mm.
So that's where we really come in and really help them
Mm.
understand what actually is a really good deal.
Yeah.
Nicholas, since you're so on the ground, right, serving the upgraders market, right,
Yes, yes.
maybe you share a little bit of market sentiments on the resale on HDB as well.
Okay, so of course, if you know after COVID, actually HDB is very buoyant.
Mm.
You know, the market, the resale value, the pricing, the quantums are all really on a high.
Yeah.
And I think right now, what I'm looking at, I'm seeing is basically a little bit of tapering.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say prices are coming down,
Okay.
but demand has been a little bit slower.
Okay.
So if you are thinking of selling, I
Mhm.
think we might be looking at towards the tail end of the high price because of a few factors.
Okay.
The high price for HDB, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Because anyway we are at an all-time high, right?
We are all time high. So actually all the sellers who are ready to upgrade, right? I think
Yeah.
this year you still can fight,
Okay.
right? But because of the BTOs that are coming up,
Yeah.
right? So there will be a higher supply.
Yeah.
So that actually I see a lot of sentiment, a lot of young buyers.
And we are
right?
talking about 25,000 per annum for BTO.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
just now you were mentioning about the factors to consider.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the factors to consider is that you need to really understand that BTOs take about. I mean, of course, caveat
Caveat.
BTOs are not for you to make money.
Right. Right.
But because of demand, bo pian mah.
Yep.
So the price will definitely be of a certain demand. That
Mhm.
is supply demand
yes. Yes.
factor.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is, even though you may make a substantial amount of money in BTO,
Mm.
it takes typically 5 years to build,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And then you need to fulfill a 5-year MOP.
Yep.
So of course, if you are a young couple in your 20s,
Mm.
sure, you can go for it.
Yep.
Use that 10 years and then
Yep.
slowly upgrade.
Yep.
But if you are in the 30s or in the 40s like me,
Mhm.
how many 10 years do you have?
Yeah. And
So I
as you
think
go
that-
as you go along, just to mention about this point, right? It's not that you cannot buy, but it's just that the installment, right? Because we got the TDSR to fulfill, we
Yes.
got the LTV to fulfill, right?
Yes.
The installment is so high and stressful that
Yes.
as you age, right, you may not want to take that risk anymore.
Correct. Because as you age, as your age goes up, you will actually have shorter loan tenor
Yeah.
to fulfill your mortgage commitment.
Yes.
So I think that is some of the factors that you need to consider. So
Right.
of course, resale, I think what we see also is in terms of the demand is really coming slower. I wouldn't say stop, but at the end of the day, people are still buying because some of the buyers, they actually see the fact that it is faster to go into the market right now,
Yeah.
regardless of whether it's a HDB or a condo. You just need to fulfill that 5-year MOP before you can upgrade.
Yep.
So I think that two sets of buyers, two schools of thought, if you were really, I mean this is a tip that I think that I can share,
Right.
which is really helpful, is that probably the sales of balance flats
Right.
would be a better entry point for you because sales of balance flat, if you are not familiar, is pretty much flats that are not being selected during the BTO exercise and they are being bounced out units lah, so
Right.
bounced out units.
Right.
And that typically takes about 1 year before you can move in. So you can actually shorten that MOP process. So basically you can probably shorten it by about 4 years
Okay.
and then you can move on.
Right.
But sentiment wise, I think people are still buying, but they are more prudent. And prudent is the word lah. And but if they see a good deal, they will still go for it because we have prime location, not the PLH, not mistaken with that, but city fringe locations that
right.
are really, really strong.
Yes.
And people are really looking at 1.5 million
Yeah.
kind of transactions
Yep.
because of the size. I
Right.
think
The
value,
size.
value
Again, go back
preservation
to the point of
is
the
still
size.
the
right?
size,
Yeah,
yes,
it's still the
because
size.
that's the main value preservation factor for a lot of HDBs.
I think that's one of the reasons why there's these regulations, right, that restrict private property owners from buying HDB because they downsize direct and they use the sales proceed to actually pay for it. So there's actually the time frame of 15 months to fulfill before they can buy HDB. Yeah.
I think that point is actually quite good.
Right.
Even though some homeowners who have their plans already mapped out, right?
Right.
And then they cannot spana throw in the works.
Okay.
But what I feel is this will actually help make it more affordable because if you are a downgrader, so you're right sizing,
Right.
you are selling your 2,000 square feet condo anywhere from 2.3 to 3 million,
Right.
3.5 million.
Right.
Obviously, if you already plan out correctly,
Yeah.
you know, back in the day,
Yeah.
you will be rewarded with a very nice payout, cash out,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So obviously, if you are in your 50s or 60s, you get this very handsome payout, and then you want to go back to a similar size in the
It's challenging.
private property market, right?
Yeah.
It's really tough, right?
Right.
Because of the new launch prices, land bid prices, and all these factors coming.
Okay.
So obviously, the next obvious choice would be in terms of what you call bigger space HDB.
Okay.
So then, that actually what actually happens is that when that set of buyers come in, they're actually competing with first-time buyers.
Yeah.
So obviously, you see crazy amount of COB. You see actually prices being bidded. So I actually sold a few units previously, maybe in the past 1 year. That actually the listed price was maybe 500 grand, and it got bidded to 560,
Wow.
570 purely because I'm going to downgrade, I'm going to buy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
You don't mind.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that really affects the buyer. The buyer will sian
Right.
I'm here first time buyer,
Yeah.
competing with someone that has more cash.
Correct.
So I think it's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how you see it.
Okay.
But I feel because I serve a lot of young buyers.
Yep.
I feel for them.
Yep.
Because that gives them a better edge over this set of buyers.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now they don't have to compete with those right sizing buyers
Yes.
from private properties, right?
Yes.
And there's this question from our viewers here.
Okay.
Actually, Chris is actually asking, right? Are we actually facing the peak of the property market right now? So what do you think, Thomas?
Okay. Wow. Firstly, we are at an all-time high,
Yes.
unprecedented high.
Yeah.
Never before in the history of property prices have we seen property prices hit today's pricing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Nobody has the crystal ball to know whether or not it will continue to progress on.
Yep.
Nobody expected that over COVID prices could go up. Could there be another COVID?
Yeah.
I mean,
Nobody knows.
nobody knows, right?
But one thing we know for sure,
Yeah.
which is regulations are in place to keep all the
Yes.
market sentiments at a very, I would say,
It's not speculative.
it's not speculative, yeah.
We're not in the bubble.
Yeah, correct.
I
We are
always
not
use
in
this example. I mean,
Yeah.
if all the measures are not, imagine today ABSD is taken away.
Wow.
What will happen? You just think about it. I think it's quite scary because if ABSD the moment
Yeah.
is taken away,
I think
I would want a second, a third, fourth property.
no, foreigners will come in and wet before you can take action.
So,
Yeah.
so we're not. So
We don't even have a chance.
Correct. So on top of that foreigner
Yeah.
competitiveness
Yeah.
within the domestic market itself, we are already going to see.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So many
People
people,
rushing in.
they don't have to decouple, they can just buy straight. Can you
Yes.
imagine that kind
So
of a fierce fight amongst
feel
the buyers out there?
prices are, I wouldn't use the word suppressed,
Yeah.
but they are being regulated so that it doesn't get out of hand.
I would say it's genuine demand.
Yeah.
I think the key word here is right now we really don't know whether the property price, and even somebody tell you they know,
Yeah.
is definitely BS.
It's
Okay, because
cannot.
nobody know. But one thing we are very certain is that
Yeah.
it's very stabilized because
Yes.
what the government aims to achieve with so many regulations in place are actually sustainable, slow and positive growth.
Yes, I
right?
think
Yeah.
slow and steady lah.
Slow and steady.
I think the
Okay.
growth is slow and
Yes, and talking about slow and steady, especially for upgraders, right? We are talking about the next very interesting thing, which is the EC segment. You know, this year, right? This year,
Yeah.
there is no EC launch except for one, which is in Bukit Batok, upcoming launch, and it's Altura by Qing Jian. And last weekend, okay, not last, just this last weekend, right? So we have 15 units of bounce out units, right, from Tenet itself. And this is something very interesting because before we answer the next question, right, we want to talk a little bit about these 15 units bounce out units. And you know what? the sales gallery is only so big, and we have more than 100 sets of buyers coming in for these 15 bounce out units. And you know, when we talk about one set of buyers, means they bring
Two
either
or three lah.
yeah, they bring 2 or 3. So it's like 300-400 people for that particular 15 units. And obviously, within a few balloting call is completely sold out, and some disappointed. We have 2 disappointed buyers willing to stretch a little bit more to get the 5 bidders, which cost more than $2.1 million.
Wow.
It's not stretched a little bit more.
Yeah, it's stretched because they are looking at 4 bidder, so stretch a little bit
Stretch
more.
one room. It's not
Stretch one more
two
room.
You stretch two room.
Okay. So typically we are talking about from 4 bidder room types, right?
Yeah.
To stretch to 5 bidder, not those from 2 bidder to 5 bidder. Obviously.
And you know what?
Yeah.
On this note, right, I
Yeah.
just did a very interesting calculation.
Yes.
Wait, so the income ceiling to buy EC is $16,000 per month.
Yes.
And if you can only earn $16,000 a month, you will only be able to take a loan of 1.1 million.
Yeah.
And to buy a $2.1 million, right? I've
1
done
million.
the calculations here. You need to cough out at least $700,000 to $800,000 in cash or CPF before you can proceed. No? So actually, if you live in an EC, you look at the people staying in the 5 bidders,
Fluent.
wow, these are the it's not by
Real
influence,
deal.
these are the real deal.
These are the real deal.
They are the real deal.
Oh, 你把它踢掉。So anyway, you can take a look at how the EC, you know, the upgraders,
Yeah.
they are really very excited about, because you see Tampines, right? We also talked about the recent bid for the Tampines North Mix
Oh, yeah.
development.
Yeah.
It's also bought by UOL and Singland,
Yeah.
and you know it is
800 over, right?
yeah, 800 over per square foot. So basically, it is just right within the walking distance to Tenet. So we are all looking forward to the next launch by UOL and you know Singland for this particular plot, which is going to be very exciting because it's a mixed development and it's going to be a transport hub itself. So we are all looking forward.
Oh, and on this note, right, I also want to say, because just now somebody asked, are we at the peak of property prices?
Yes.
Then if you're still listening, right, these are the exact things that will push up the property prices, right?
Yes.
Because the land is more expensive than Tenet.
Yeah.
This piece of land is more expensive than what the developers paid for Tenet.
Yeah.
So the future launches will be more expensive. And like what you were saying, right, the cost of replacement.
Yes, cost of replacement is very high.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
So you know the usual things that people ask, right? When we ask them to say, "Hey, will you consider upgrading?" Right? The usual questions that being posted will be, "Hey, I sell already, I stay where?"
Yes.
Or I sell already, I buy where?
Yes.
Right? So the replacement cost is always something that people are looking out for. So let's take the first question right now. Jay is asking, still safe to buy private property at today's price, or we are entering another 2013? Now, just for your information, Jay, if you are asking this question, right, I just want to give a disclaimer. 2013, we are not hit with any financial crisis. In fact, 2013, right, it is basically the tsunami of the regulations, which is TDSR.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2013 was a very amazing year where TDSR and MSR was introduced, where we need to follow a 60% back then, alright? So 60% to ensure that your installment is not more than 60% of your income, alright? But just to be fair, it was a very slow and stable correction, which is not a crash, because a crash would be like the Lehman Brothers, where there's an immediate crash of property, you know, from I would say 2 million drop to 1.3 million or 1.4 million range. So
Yeah.
that is like a crash. But 2013 was not a crash. Every quarter there's a correction, and it was to really deter all the speculation from those that is over committing and over borrowing.
Over-leverage, yeah.
Over leverage. So that's very risky for the financial sector.
Yes.
And I think we have successfully blocked out all the speculative buyers out there, which is why you see today there are so many banks out there. The US crisis, the economy crisis is not affecting the take-up rate in today's market, which is why 2013 is a very good regulation implemented on the TDSR. In fact, yeah, that's how.
I guess, right, the simple answer to that also would be, a lot of, like, the viewer obviously thought that 2013 was the peak, because after that it went down. So the thing that causes the price to went down is actually the regulations.
Right.
It's not so much on the market forces, because the
Exactly.
government turned up the regulation.
Yes.
And I'm looking at data right now from URA. 2013 actually, it did happen, right? Because 2013 happened and then it went down for 2 years, 2015, right?
Yeah.
Then 16, 17 onwards, it
Wait,
went up.
you are looking at what data is this?
This is whole Singapore, excluding EC, excluding HDB,
Excluding
private property transaction.
Right,
So you could see 2013, the prices went down for 2 years.
right,
And then after that, it continued going back up.
yep,
So, and also, right, it depends on the holding horizon.
Yep.
If you had bought in 2013, you held it to today.
Wait, 2013 also have SSD, which
yes.
also means people who buy, you won't be thinking of, a fast flip.
You can't flip.
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
So you need to hold back. Back in 2013, it was still 4 years. SSD of 4 years, which is from 16% all the way to reduce to 4% over every year drop of 4%. Right? So Jay was asking, so unless there's drastic cooling measures now, price will continue to go up. Okay, this Jay, you're asking very good questions. Really, really very healthy and helping us to really excite the rest of the viewers, because you see we are getting into this situation right now where we want to talk about the kueh peng.
Yes.
What is the strategy and the theory of kueh peng?
Right, okay, so the Kueh Peng theory goes like that, right? Now, the question we need to always ask ourselves is, will the price of chicken rice go down?
Yes.
The answer is no.
Why?
Why? Because the cost of chicken, the cost of the farm, the
Discount
rental,
$1 chicken rice.
Yeah, maybe got the chicken flu leh?
maybe got the chicken. Hey, wait, if there's chicken flu, then
The
the
price will go up.
scarcity of chicken, then the price will go up.
price-
Even more, right?
Oh.
So workers need to eat.
Workers need to eat, so the owner need to make money. The
Correct.
workers
The
need
staff.
to eat.
Correct.
The rental that they need to
Rental.
pay for the store,
Correct.
and the chicken that they need to buy,
Overheads.
the
Correct.
overheads,
Correct.
the
Basically the
utilities
cost, yes.
bills basically, right?
Yeah.
So all these costing add up. The chicken rice from $3 we can get back in the COVID days. Today we need to pay $5.
Correct. So
Yeah.
everything is tied back to, we call it commodity, right?
Yeah.
For as long as the cost of food, the cost of workers, the cost of lodging, material, logistics,
Yeah.
transportation, land cost, if all of these things doesn't come down,
Yeah,
it is quite hard for property prices to come down because properties are built on this.
yeah,
And I tell you, what goes up must come down.
yes,
And I tell you, the next thing that is going to come down, you know what that's going to be? Interest rates. Interest rates cannot continue to go up, right? And right now, even right now at its all-time high interest rates,
okay.
we are experiencing an all-time high price.
Yes,
Can you imagine what
but
happens?
let's not talk about interest rate at the moment.
Okay.
Because we want to talk about the analogy, right? Just now we're talking about the
chicken
paper,
rice.
right? Yeah. Okay. So now we go back to the real estate. Okay. Real estate consists of firstly the land price.
Yes.
This is something that we cannot see on the land price. Okay. And you know the land price is not dropping.
Yes.
That's one thing. Okay. Next we talk about construction cost and the manpower cost.
Yeah.
And obviously that is not dropping. Is the levy dropping? No, it's not dropping. So these two factors are not dropping. And the third factor is developers' profit. Okay, it's ranging between 10 to 15. And if you were to compare global basis for developers to make money, right? You know Singapore is a unique place where developers cannot hold on to properties, right, for long. They need to dispose what they buy in order to fulfill the 5 years criteria for them to let go, right? Otherwise, they will be slapped with ABSD. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is the a magical part about Singapore real estate developers, where they cannot hold on and say, wait until market good then sell.
They cannot
They
take
need
their
to-
time to
So
sell.
unless you're fine.
Unless you're Far East where you're not listed and you can hold on, grow grass and then still make money. Okay, so that's a different story, but most developers out there, they cannot hold on and don't sell. Okay, so now coming back to that, in global context, okay, for developers to make profit, right, it is definitely not around 10 to 15%. We are talking about 50 and above, and even some are in folds, like 1 fold, 2 fold.
Yeah.
So that is the kind of profit margin developers are making overseas, but in Singapore, we are very, very marginal when it comes to profit margin. In fact, it is pathetic. Sometimes developers is also just doing for the sake of having a home
Presence.
ground, a presence, that's to
Branding.
for branding, for branding.
Expensive branding.
Expensive branding, yeah. You know something like global, like all the branded goods, right? Singapore to them is also a very small market, but they still want to be here because it's a financial hub where they want a presence.
It's good company, country.
Okay, so we have covered what Jay would highlight. So now we have another question. Kimochi actually asked, please advise which sub-sale project has best potential for own stay or own investment. Okay, so
It's a very subjective question. Because if we're going to tell you something in a particular location and then your kids don't go to school there,
Right.
your workplace is not there.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so let us break down
Yeah,
into
we break down.
two portion. Okay, two portion. First thing, when we talk about investment, right, usually we will not be bothered about whether there's school. Of course, when you want to exit, there's a possibility that the buyers will come in and look for schools, right? But
Right.
when we talk about investment, we talk about dollars and cents where it is attractively priced.
Yep.
Okay, so that's first thing we look
Entry
at.
price lah.
Entry price, basically entry price. Okay, and absolute quantum, easy to absorb for majority, not you, but majority of the buyers out there, right? Second thing that we look at, if you are looking at OCR property, just not long ago, 4 years back, where we launched this treasure at Tampines, right? It's the biggest development in Singapore, and we have more than 2,200 over units sold in just less than 3 years. And
Wow.
when we talk about this, we are so proud because it is tremendous record in the history of Singapore that we have sold in less than 3 years for such a big development. It's the
Yes.
biggest in Singapore anyway.
Yes.
So yeah, and yes, and in charge. So that's not the point. The point is the entry point back then for a 5-bedder is just starting from 1.8 over million.
Yes.
And if you translate to today's pricing for the same similar size of 5-bedder,
Yes.
even in the OCR market, it could easily command 2.5 to 2.8 million dollars.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah, and
Close one eye.
so what I'm saying here is, in such a short span of 4 years, which Treasure haven't even TOP yet, we already seen such a significant breakthrough in the price itself. So something that we will say, if you are looking for a bigger room types, every per square foot counts, which any 100 per square foot increase, right, based on 1,000 square feet, you will have already earned 100,000, right? Yeah. So this is something that you need to understand. Okay, so let's move back to another question where Miss Karen Tan is asking, I want to buy a property for own stay with strong capital appreciation potential. What are my options? Nick.
This one, usually when I receive questions like this, right, I'll tell them I don't know.
You don't know.
Why? Because I don't have so what I do usually
so to
for
be
my
fair,
process,
to be
yeah,
fair.
to be fair, right, to be fair. The process that I go through is really to understand what you need,
Yeah.
how you're going to get there,
Yeah.
what you have now, and what is your long-term plan,
Yeah.
5-10 years.
Yeah.
Then I'm able to map out exactly what you want to see how you're able to get there if you are not already ready.
Yeah.
So this is something that I feel is more important than just asking out. I can give you 10 developments and tell you that these are going to be good.
So,
Yeah.
so you see the difference, Nicholas. You see the difference here. All the three of us here, if you ask us what to buy next, right, we will not give you an answer immediately like, oh, you should buy Tembusu Grad. No,
Yeah.
we will not say something like that. But it's obviously we need to know whether it's a new launch, whether it's sub-sale, whether it's resale, leasehold, freehold, etc., to suit your holding horizon and
Yes.
also your family needs,
Exactly.
right? Because this is also questions on the ground, whether it's 99 years
Yeah.
suitable for me, whether
So
it's
many
freehold.
questions.
You know, and when you talk about freehold versus leasehold, right, there's always pro and con.
Yes.
Okay, there's always pro and con. But when we're gonna talk about pro and con, right, it is also subjective on the most critical topic today, affordability.
Yeah.
Affordability. Just like why the 48 units of Holland and 11 moved that fast,
Yeah.
it's obviously because it is affordable range of entry price
Yes.
if you are looking at that kind of size.
Yeah.
Right?
Content is really attractive.
Super attractive.
Yeah.
Right. So this is one thing that we need to look at generally. So like recently you did a topic about what if the black and white house is for sale, right? It
Yeah.
will cost 375
Yes.
million, right? Which even at a very humble
1,500
per square foot, right, it will still cost 375 million.
$1.3 million of mortgage.
Yeah.
Pay every
So
month.
that's
month.
just for analogy purpose because it's not for sale,
Yeah,
obviously.
not for
So we want to share that sometimes even if it is very attractively priced, right, as long as the quantum is big, right, you are only able to attract that top-notch number 1% of the buyers out there, where we are talking about OCR market where most of the upgraders are able to afford. And when we talk about OCR, we also look at how many HDB upgraders, how many the housing dwellers are there in that particular district. So it is a very subjective questions that we want to go through in detail with you before we can propose a suitable.
I think that's very important because a lot of times when other agents have been posed questions like this, straight away they will throw in things that are their involved and things that they want to sell you.
Immediately they tell you, oh, come, let's buy Grand
Yeah,
Diamond.
let's buy Grand Diamond. Let's go buy.
Or they will tell you, hey, come, let's go Tembusu Grand.
Yeah. But I think touching on the topic, if we have time for talking about resale versus new launch, I think I want to talk about that topic because I think this is something that we can all relate to.
Yes.
So imagine the new launch is like a BTO,
Yeah.
and then your resale HDB is like a resale condo.
Mm.
So when you buy BTO,
Mm.
you'll be at the lowest price possible directly from the government.
Right,
Correct?
right.
So in this case, if you throw this analogy into a new launch,
Mm.
are you buying from the lowest price possible from the developer?
Yeah.
So when you exit your BTO, would you sell, for example, you bought a BTO at 500 grand, would you sell it below 500?
Yeah.
Obviously not lah, unless you have some special issue or condition.
Yeah.
So drawing this comparison to new launches, if you bought a property at 2 million, would you sell it below 2?
Yeah.
Would you? No way, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, I think that would really give you a perspective in terms of how much you are looking at in terms of capital appreciation in future. Regardless 是赚多赚少的问题, I
Yeah.
think that's what I usually share with my clients because that is something that really puts your risk appetite, your
Holding
time
horizon,
horizon, into perspective. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, Thomas, I'm going to ask you the next question.
Yeah.
So we also want to talk a little bit about take up rate in the recent launches, and you know, Blossoms, right?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Blossoms is the first development launch right after the increase of ABSD from 30% to 60%.
Yes.
So you know what's the
I
take up rate?
Oh, Blossoms was 70, right?
Blossoms
was
was 77.
77% on day one.
I'm still trying
Not
to
day
find.
one, this is as of
As
Tuesday
of-
lah.
as
Yeah.
of-
As of
I'm
today,
still trying to find the 4 buyers. Do you know that there are 4 buyers that
Yeah.
bought at
Yeah.
60% ABSD?
Yeah.
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 It's very interesting because, I mean, Blossoms, man.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let's put things into perspective, my friend. You see, when we go overseas to buy properties, right?
Yeah.
I think the fact is that we don't look at regulation, we don't look at tax. What we look at, right, is the absolute quantum of cash outlay I'm putting in. Because you know foreigners don't have CPF, right? So basically what they look at is the total cash outlay. So when they look into the global, just for viewers out there who may not be, you know, considering overseas, right? You realize Singapore property is still very, very affordable. I'm talking about property, I'm not talking about acquisition cost. Okay, so there's a difference between property and acquisition cost. So to
total quantum
Yes.
for a property regardless of whatever taxes and all.
correct. So when that is inclusive, right? Singapore to the foreigners, I mean obviously they are the high net worth individuals. So to the high net worth individuals, we are still very attractive in that sense. Especially when you buy a property in other countries, right? You don't just look at the property, you don't just look at the price, you look at the overall lifestyle, the schools, the hospitals, the you know, the cleanliness, the politics, the governance and all.
Yes.
So everything is
The
about
vastness of the
holistic
whole,
approach.
whole system, whole infrastructure.
Yes.
is very-
Yes.
Yeah.
The holistic approach. So let's talk about the recent one, Blossom, right? So we have more than what? More than-
77%.
So
Yeah, and what's the number? The total number? So
total number is 214.
214.
Yeah.
Wow. So more than 200 units sold.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know there are recent launches like Tembusu. Tembusu is just slightly 2 weeks before the regulation, which is in April, right? And it has also a very good take-up rate of how many units?
363 units.
300 over units. And then we have subsequent, which is 2-3 weeks later, we have a continuum.
Continuum was 234.
200 over units, and obviously the very recent launch will be the reserve residences by Far East,
Yes.
and
Amazingly, amazing.
over
82%.
80%.
Yeah.
Over 80%.
I lost a ballot there.
Oh man, I'm sure your buyer will be more sad than you. Because seriously, it's so. I mean, everybody wants a pie of the.
It's a very nice.
attractive-
It's a very nice.
I think it's not only nice, but it's a transport hub, and it's also very good location, and it's also very reasonably priced in 2006 range.
Yes,
plus minus.
yes. It's a good.
Yeah, so-
she's getting it for investment lah. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, what's over is over. I mean, if they want to consider the balance unit.
Balance unit must rework.
Okay. Okay, so wait, Miss Karen Tan is going to ask There are so many property agents. How to identify who will advise with my best interest in my
Here got 3 already.
Satu, dua, tiga. Okay, if you are watching this, Miss Karen Tan, I think it is important to ask your questions right to the agents that you want them to represent you, and go through the process of how they take care of your interests, understand your needs before they start to propose anything that is suitable to you, and how are they able to work your finances and able to help you do your assets progression. And this is something like a energy or like you click means you click or
Exactly.
there's no perfect person, but you know, if you click and they are looking out for your interests, we are happy for you. But really do consider any PropNex agents, because I think we have as a company we are really very
Our culture is very
Culture
strong
is
in
strong.
terms of putting ourselves in
Yes.
the client's position.
Yep.
I think that is something that I picked up very strongly. I really put myself out there, think of what do you really want or really need, and what I can do to help you, rather than the first thing will be like, okay, let's go and see show flat, or let's say let's go and hunt for your house.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing very important to add, we are all walking the talk, which means we are also investing, which means we also think like an investor, where we want to put our money in, and we really put our money where we are.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yes, put your money where your mouth is. Okay, so that's very interesting. Okay, so you know, after we talk about the 4 developments, we have Blossom, we have Tembusu Grand, we have Continuum, we have the Reserve. You know what's interesting next, right? Is that we want to talk a little bit about the recent upcoming launches.
Yeah.
Because since you know, there are few viewers out there, including Miss Karen Tan and Jay. You know, what are some of the upcoming launches that you may want to discuss, or maybe if you have viewed some of them from the list.
Lentor Hills.
Lentor Hills and Grand Diamond, as well as Pine Tree Hill.
Yeah, the Mist is also closing already.
Oh,
The
Mist is also
closing
closing.
for the ballot already.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Mist. Maybe you can share.
Okay, so let's talk about Mist. We go through one by one. Okay, so let's talk about Mist. The Mist is at the Upper Bukit Timah area.
Yep.
It's by CDL, and obviously you know CDL is one of the big boys in Singapore, one of the best rated under the BCA for the best developer, and of course they always have very reputable architects to help them with all the designing the layout, and you know they are also a developer who put in a lot of hard work, as in HEART, hard work, where yes, hard work, where they also take care of the landscaping and make sure that it is very welcoming. You have grand entrances. You are going into a development where you can call a home. Yeah, so that is something that the Mist will give you, and you know, because of that, they are also giving a huge landscape, and the surrounding is basically very I would say quite unblocked, all facing the greeneries. So I've seen the sales gallery myself, and it's really very beautiful.
It sounds very mystic.
Okay, next on the list, Lentor Hills Residences, right?
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen that. I've been there a couple of times. I think we collected a check there.
Yep.
Uh,
Max.
so the thing about Lentor Hills, I feel, I think I can share a little bit of insight. I think Lentor Hills, this area, not Lentor Hills, this Lentor area is actually being developed into a new township. So actually, what I can share is actually that Guaco Land is one of the developers, and they are always doing CCR properties. So now they are coming to OCR. You won't self-enjoy your
Conclusion.
why are they here? And they are buying up quite a bit of the land over here.
Yeah.
So I think this is got to do with a new township that we actually researched a little bit.
Yeah.
I cannot share too much. If you want, you can come and find me, and I will share with you my dad.
Anyway, no obligation. Just go down to the
Yeah.
sales gallery, and you know, we can always help you to understand a bit better before you decide.
Yes.
And no obligation. So just to emphasize on that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Don't worry. So I think I want to share a little bit of an interesting thing about Lentor Hills is that if you can see,
Cannot. They
the,
cannot see.
cannot see. Never mind. It will be there is a if you are familiar with Chinese character, it's actually a 八字.
Okay, so maybe I need to adjust myself to show.
Thank you, boss.
Okay, so this is the letter 8, if you can see. Like that
Character
can see.
8.
It's a character 8, alright? Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So this is something that is very nicely built. I like the landscaping, very well thought out space planning as well. So
Yep.
I think it's a good buy. Only if you buy maybe this side of the development lah, because this side one click within St. Nicholas.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting.
So this side or this side?
This side.
Everything here.
Yeah, everything
here.
everything
But here don't have.
Here still Samsung.
So take note, take note. If you're looking at buying Lentor Hill, one side is within one click, the other side is not.
Yes. Yeah, but I think it should clear lah.
Yeah.
If not, it'd be very weird, mah.
Yeah.
But actually happens. There are
But
some
it happens.
developments-
It happens.
Yeah, there's some developments. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Because they are drawing the radius from the map.
Yeah.
So basically, if you are within one click, you are within. If you are not, then too bad. So best if you can.
That's if we can try to get this lah.
Yep.
So fingers crossed.
Okay, good. Next up, we have Pine Hill Tree.
Pine Tree Hill.
Pine Tree Hill. Sorry, Pine Tree Hill.
You did a
You did a nice
TikTok post on
Instagrammable.
Instagrammable.
The seven most Instagrammable spots at the Pine Tree Hill.
very can. This one.
Okay, so yes, basically it is a very beautiful development. Have you seen the place?
Have not. I don't really travel beyond Bukit Timah.
I tell you, you must go down and
Are
take a
you
look.
being serious right
I'm
now?
being serious right now. You must go down and take a look because it is not only that it's going to close soon, but I think the important thing is that once you go there, one of the key factors, right, is that there's a lot of landscaping.
Yeah.
Now it
Is it like Martin Modern kind of like a lot of landscaping? Because Martin Modern was 80-20.
this is even more.
Yeah, this is more.
Yeah.
88 is more.
Yeah.
This is it. Close to
So
90.
I can only tell you there's a lot of landscaping for the residents there to enjoy. So if you're one of the proud owners who's going to buy there, I think you will definitely have a very good feel when you come home.
Well, I think I want to add, this is really not just within the estate, but also with surrounding the estate. You're looking at Clementi Forest.
Oh,
You're looking at Dover Forest.
wow.
So imagine you wake up in the morning, right? You open your window. Wow.
Wow, the cricket.
And and the amazing part, right, is that because of the way it's being designed, right, you literally have all three blocks.
Yes,
that
yes,
is
exactly.
like
There's no block. It's all
Yeah,
unblocked. So
it's
all the blocks you can see the whole
Right.
forest.
right.
Very nice.
Okay, so that's fantastic. Okay, next up we have Grand Dunman, and you know Grand Dunman, right? Over the past this weekend, right, we had more than 10,000 visitors, right? It's
Yes.
really like those pre-COVID situation where people
Yes.
are just rushing down, and
Yes.
obviously
It's madness.
it's madness. It's
Yes.
madness. Okay,
Trust
so
me, I
so
was there.
why is there so much hype? I think first reason, okay,
It's a
it is.
triology.
I think first reason, it is very near to the MRT.
Very
Okay.
near.
Second reason, because the entry price should be very attractively priced, maybe slightly. We don't know. We just hearsay. Maybe slightly below the Tembusu Glen and the Continuum. Obviously, because Continuum is freehold.
Freehold.
So it will be very attractively priced. Okay. However, that when there's pro, there's always con lah. So the con for you to find out lah. So, but anyways, okay. So the con, of course, we won't discuss. You know, we need to find out your needs first. That's always the case. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's good news for people who like to go concert lah, because very near indoor stadium. So all the concert people will find you to park your house and then take a train down.
Cycle, you can cycle there.
Yeah, can
Or
cycle.
you can walk there.
Can.
Yeah,
Actually,
you can not only give them parking lots, you can lend them your bike.
Yeah, you can land on your bike. Then on the way you can have some food at Old Airport Road before going to the.
Okay. Then yes, so Grand Dunman is definitely one of the big development,
Yeah,
more than
1,000
1,000
units.
units.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I
1,000.
did some interesting research about 1,000 units.
That was about it.
There is only one condo in District 15 that has 1,000 units. There is only one.
Which is
How can you not know?
no lah. Which is what you must tell us lah.
Mandarin Garden.
Mandarin Garden.
Mandarin Garden is the only development in
District.
District 15 that has more than 1,000 units.
And just for your info, till date, right? Mandarin Garden is so old, more than 30 years, right? It is still very highly sought after.
Wait, I give you some hard facts.
Let us give you some hard facts. right
Highly
now.
sought after is
It's an understatement.
I tell you, you are not gonna believe what you're gonna see right now. Have a look at this.
Okay.
Now, Mandarin Garden has been around since what? 1982.
Yep.
And in the last, did you see this?
Yep.
This is how, do you know how ridiculous
In
that
the
is?
last 4 years.
19 2021, 2022. In the last 4 years, the price went up by 55%.
55%, which means a $1 million home will be 1.55 million.
Mandarin Gardens.
Mandarin Gardens.
Yeah, so I think this really, supply and demand, right? How many people can say they got 1,000 units in a corner in 350?
Pause. Right now, we need to go back and relate back to one keyword,
Yes.
which is affordability.
Yes.
Because while we say it's 55% increase over the past 4 years,
Yes.
please bear in mind that the absolute quantum that you are paying for, it is still very, very affordable. Let me give you an example. For a 3-bedder, which is at a
Ninth floor. On the 9th floor,
9th floor, you're just paying 2.1 million
for 1,572 square feet.
for, yeah. which
That is big, man.
That is big.
yeah, that's
3 bedroom, 1,507.
Yep.
1,572.
super attractive, right? So, we are left with 2 more recent upcoming launch. So let us go into that right now. Let me see. So we have Grand Diamond, then after that we have the Lake Garden. Have you all seen the Lake Garden?
Jurong.
Yeah,
Oh,
Garden,
man.
not yet, right?
not yet.
Have
not
you
yet.
been there?
Soon.
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 Like later?
No, because this is going to launch later part of July. So
Okay.
yeah, no worries. We will be there to update you, and
Yes.
obviously we also have
Will be
another
your
one.
eyes and ears.
Yes,
Stay
yes.
tuned.
Stay tuned. So hit that follow button so that you will all be
Smash.
Yes, smash
Smash
that
it.
follow button. Okay, the one that is in red. Okay, so right now we have shared all the recent upcoming launch for June and July. Let us go back to some of the burning questions. Do we have any burning questions? Yes. Okay, so we have these questions from the ground talking about a sale, right? Now, this seller is actually asking, selling without agent can help save my money because I don't need to pay commission.
That's absolutely correct.
That is, you're right,
That is
man.
absolutely correct.
Confirm.
That's absolutely correct.
Wait, there's pro, there's always a con,
Yeah.
right? So what's the con?
Okay, it's like you are a very good cook.
Very cool.
Then you go and cook at your own wedding. So you know what I mean? You can save money. You don't need to hire chefs. You don't need to. You can cook at your own wedding. But I think
Okay, let us put it into no, wait. Let us put into perspective this analogy, right? You know,
Yeah.
recently I asked you to help me post my vehicle for sale.
oh yeah,
You know what?
Yeah.
I have tons of inquiries, tons,
tons.
but they are all agents,
Okay.
and they are
Car
all
dealers.
car
Car
dealers.
dealers.
So which means they are agents,
Hey, have you sold?
not yet.
Okay.
So they are all car dealers, and you know what happened?
What?
They are all looking for consignment. So all they want is business, right?
So they want to advertise.
They want to advertise, they want to
Have
help you.
inventory on
Yeah, so they want inventory, right? And you see, this is one of the reasons because they are providing a hassle-free. They say you don't need to advertise, you don't need to
photo.
entertain, you
Yeah.
don't need to take photo. They will help you with everything. You don't need to entertain buyers call. You don't need to entertain buyers without loan
Yeah.
because they will come in and do the loan package. You just get your money when the buyer say yes. You just get your money and they will deal with the buyer. So all these benefits
Yeah.
they will sell to me.
Yeah.
Okay, in order to say, okay, let's help you do the deal lah.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously in real estate terms, okay, we also have such value add,
Mm.
and let's give them an example of a value add.
What agent can do?
No, the recent one that you did, the eco prop, the mixed gold, yeah,
Oh.
something like that. If you are typical
Okay.
owner doing on your own, right?
Yes.
There is no way you will be
Yes,
able
yes,
to
yes.
access this. There's also no way you can let your customers or your buyers imagine
Yes.
how the place is going to be
Yes.
if you don't upkeep properly, right?
Okay, so basically we have a new toy, a new technology, right?
Hmm.
This is also known as a virtual tour.
Yeah.
But virtual tours are, it's not something that is exactly new, right?
Yeah.
But within this virtual tour, you are able to have what we call an artist impression. With just a click of a button, the house becomes renovated. So whatever you're looking at are dimensionally accurate artist impression to give the buyers an idea of how the property can look like after it has been renovated.
Yeah.
I think that is something that's very interesting.
Yeah.
We can't show it to you right now, but I don't know how to But
Yeah.
I mean, you just kind
No
of
Let's go and
worries, but you
see
just
TikTok.
hit that follow button, it will eventually show up on your feed.
Yeah, and then another thing I want to say is right, a lot of times when buyers want to buy property, right,
Right.
they don't just buy on the spot.
Right.
They require a lot of hand holding and nurturing.
Yes.
So
I like the word nurturing.
yeah, you need to nurture the buyer, help them with the loan, help them understand a lot of things before they would make action.
Because nobody wake up and suddenly say I want to buy property and then they go in and say I give you this offer. Nobody.
Yes,
No.
nobody.
Not yet.
Nobody here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the time spent is not just like advertising, exposing your house, but it's also when we meet the buyers, we nurture them.
Yeah.
I mean, we spend time to talk to them, that kind of stuff. These
Yeah.
are also things that a lot of people they don't.
Some buyers took us like 5 to 6 months easily to close a deal. So really it's not easy, and we are talking about cost now. Having the subscription for the virtual tour, having the subscription for portals, available in the market, really is not cheap. And when people, say not cheap, they don't really understand where got so expensive. And our dear friend here, who spent without looking at the invoices, suddenly got a shock of his life when he realized that the amount of costs
Wow.
incurred for boosting and so on, right?
I'm shocked, man.
He's
Quite shocking
shocked.
one.
Hey, I'm not joking.
And he's not joking because he
Wow.
spent money like it's not his. Okay, this guy spent money like as if it's not his.
Can
So
I
you
be
can
a
imagine when he gets a shock. When he gets a shock.
Hey,
Wow.
this is a true story.
True story.
I just renewed the property guru $17,000. Okay, and the thing is this, right?
Mm.
So as I was renewing, I was asking the property guru person, how much credit am I spending on this and that?
Yeah.
The property guru person got a shock.
Yeah.
The property guru's like, hey Thomas, this property you haven't sell. I said, yeah, why? You know you have already spent about $5,000 just on this particular listing, just on one listing on property guru alone, 5,000 Singapore dollars.
Yeah.
Just to boost, turbo, refresh.
Yes, talking about that, right?
Yeah.
This is just one portal.
Yeah.
Imagine you are doing a filming of
Yeah.
a video tour,
Yeah.
and you just post it, don't stay a lot, just $50 per day, and you don't get to sell it within 3 months, right? You know how much it chalk up to that
Yeah.
kind of amount. So this is really a very high cost, and I believe, right, there's a lot of emotion. Let me give you an example of emotion, right? When somebody visit your house, go for viewing, right? If you're the buyer, I'm the seller, right? And you give some negative comments, wow, here like, wow, like, wow,
Very
wow.
dark leh.
Yeah, very dark leh, or wow, I can tell you, as a seller, if you DIY, right, imagine that kind, then your ego will start to take over, and then, even if you give me offer, I also don't want to sell.
No, I actually have sellers that I'm serving sellers, so I even have sellers really very emotional. Like they
Yeah.
probably have something that the buyer mentioned and just strike off with it.
Yes.
Don't want to
Yeah,
sell
yeah,
this
yeah,
kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to sum up, I feel it's really about time versus money.
Time versus
If
money.
you want to spend time going through, and then of course with all this information, research data,
Yep.
we are on ground all the time.
Yep.
We really, I'm not saying that we are good, but I'm just saying that
But relevant.
we are relevant
Very
because
relevant.
we have a lot of information and research and a lot of experience on the ground that we are able to impart and help you monitor and understand what your buyer really wants and how to really sell your property at the best price possible, and also to manage. I use the word manage because sometimes buyers, they may not see what they are seeing.
Okay.
Exactly, which is why I think Thomas's the EcoProp thing is really good because buyers are at the end of the day, humans are visual creatures.
Yeah.
So they go into the house, they see, wow, the house big tree, or not done up, not staged up.
Yeah.
I think this tool really will help. I'm not promoting the thing, but I'm just saying that really it's just more than just selling and buying for agents. If you are looking at that, obviously then whatever the agent or advisor do for you, you don't see value.
Okay.
But when you are able to see that value,
Hmm.
we are here to really help you save time.
So I put myself into the position of a seller for my vehicle, right? It's the same thing. I just want to sell my car. If you can get my car
Yes.
sold, I don't want to deal with the nonsense, what the
Yes.
viewings, and I don't want to deal with all
with the low ball.
I don't want to deal with low ball. I don't
don't
deal with the emotion. I don't deal with
Yes.
the whether you want to take loan or
whether
what.
or not, I don't have to deal with
Yeah.
all the little nitty gritty details.
Yep.
That at the end of the day, you will have to. So you may think that you have saved this amount,
Yeah.
but you have spent so much time
Oh yeah, that's true.
and the opportunity cost of
Imagine.
that time.
Imagine every single
Right.
buyer call you. You need to explain everything.
Yes.
You need to make sure you I mean, you won't even follow up with your buyer. You won't also ask them questions whether they are eligible.
Yes.
You okay, come. But every time they come and they go away without you understanding why, you felt drained.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the
I think
that's the
really,
key lah. Yeah.
really about opportunity cost as well.
Yeah, opportunity cost and also the timing, because when we position your sales price, we also look at the market, whether there's comparable units in the market, and we'll advise you accordingly based on what is the supply and demand in the area. Yep. So this is something that we will definitely be able to assist now. There's another question which is very interesting, okay, from the ground. Getting multiple agents versus exclusive,
Yeah.
is it a better option? There are more agents to be able to outreach.
Yeah. I guess it depends on, we're talking about value add. It depends on what kind of value add the other agents is able to do for you. If everybody's coming in, using their mobile phones, taking photos, putting it on Property Guru, you get 10 agents. The buyers who are surfing Property Guru, they're going to see all the same thing. So unless your agents have something that is unique, they can do.
One thing,
Yeah.
there is, if 10 people post, right,
Yeah.
the most worrying thing, right, you
Okay.
know, as a seller, I've experienced this personally myself many times. You know what
Yeah.
they say? They say, but I will tell them what price I want, right? So let's say, give you an example, I say I want 1.5 million.
Correct.
Okay, so you and him or everyone else is posting. Let's say got 10 agents. So you know, every 10 agents are just, because non-binding is open listing, right? So some agents will say, okay, my owner is asking 1.5, but can you imagine there's one agent, okay, who posted 1.5, there's nothing wrong, right? But the buyer say, hey, but my budget only 1.4. And this agent agrees, say, okay, now 1.4, come and view first.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But you see, when that happens, right, it gives the buyer an impression
Yeah.
that it is, or it may be possible.
Yeah.
But if those agents who are stuck with 1.5 say, no, 1.5, then you know, this becomes a perceived value of number of people marketing for you, but end of the day, the buyers are only as such, they are only that few.
Yes.
I mean, for me, it's very interesting. I put myself as a buyer when I
Yeah.
see a listing that
Yeah.
has multiple multiple agents
Yeah.
doing it. I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I feel like, 这间屋子卖不掉。I don't know if you have that kind of sentiment, like, wow, I mean, if it's a good listing, if the agent is competent, why do you need so many people to sell?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's my sentiment. I may be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
this perspective,
Yeah,
it's
perspective.
personal perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe you can sit up front, because the viewers like see you got big muscle, then you suddenly shrink like that. Give us some time to shine. Okay. Anyway, okay. So moving on to the next question, right? There's a question from the ground. Agents from big agencies are definitely better. True or false?
I mean, we are the biggest, so we are the best now.
But what defines best? Oh, that's a good question. What defines best?
I think what I feel personally with PropNext is that they really invest a lot of the money back into tools for us to use, and this is really from the bottom of my heart. Right? You really have all this information at the tips of your hands, and you are able to really come up with strategies, calculations wise, you know, all the different statistics, data, and it is constantly improving. So much so that other agencies, right, they will come to me, you know, hey bro, can you help me check?
So you become information counter.
Then I said, no lah, you join me. I can show you.
Anyway, let's talk about the hard truth. The hard truth is that firstly, you need to have a huge database in order for you to achieve that. Secondly, right, you need to have the amount of numbers before you decide to spend millions of dollars on a app or program, right? Whichever the case. And even talking about advertising dollars, you know, we are always in the forefront. There's so much advertising. There's Monopoly Challenge. There's the quality workshop, etc. Right? So there's so much advertising and cost going on, right? That for a smaller company, right, to compete, right, it is really tough. To be fair, it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough.
Because the resources is not enough.
The resources is never.
Channel back.
Yeah, it's never equal. So that's something that we want to share. But obviously,
not one, not two, not even three, but we have 4 so powerful apps.
Yeah.
Do you know?
No.
So do
I don't know.
We have the sales, we have the investment, we have the business.
Never
we have
used.
our own
I've never use any of this.
Yeah, no worries. He don't need all this. he don't need all this.
He's really into doing his own numbers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he compiles a lot of data out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question that we have is that why buyers are still buying in today's market even though the prices are so high?
Even though the prices are so high.
Okay, so high and low got different perspective, right?
Yeah.
And what are you comparing with? You know,
Yeah.
when you talk about price high or low, you always need to
Relevant.
relevant, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess one example would be this, right? Like when I first started out in my career, a landed house was maybe 1/1,000,000.
Okay.
I think when you started out,
Less than a million.
do you know? Okay, just to share.
yeah,
When I started out, right,
yeah.
I was marketing this GCB, right,
Let us guess. You just tell us the size of the land.
15,000, slightly above,
Okay, but maybe so less than 16,000 square feet.
less than 16,000, just slightly above 15,000.
Okay,
Just qualified to be GCB.
12 million,
No,
8 million,
it's 8 million.
8 million.
Yes, 8 million when I joined the industry, which is 20 years
Yeah.
ago. 8 million for a GCB. Today, 8 million. What can we get for 8 million?
A semi-detached house at Serangoon Gardens.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So you are right, because when I first started, a landed house was about 1 million. When by the time I could kind of afford, the landed house is already 3/1,000,000. Now I can say it's very expensive. Wow, I want the $1/1,000,000 price tag. But then the $1,000,000 over price tag is never going to come back.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen is it will only continue to go up,
Yeah.
right?
So when you say this is the example we're giving. So when we say expensive, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the cost of me looking at 20 years ago and I say right now is expensive, but honestly speaking, today if you look at even the very rundown landed housing, right?
Yeah.
Really tough.
It's
really
tough to get below $5 million for interterrace. Really tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I always share this article written by came out in I think China News Asia, not written by me but by a DBS analyst. I can remember Alvin.
Okay.
Can go and check
Okay.
with him if you want to verify.
Okay.
This article was done in 2017,
Right.
and they are forecasting that by 2030,
Yeah.
the average PSF will be about 2,900.
Yeah.
You look at today, 2023, by 2030 is 7 years later,
Yeah.
we are already breaching 2,005.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, unless the analyst is wrong
Yeah.
it's
But this article was so long ago.
it's so long ago,
and it's already
and
on
it's
track.
fulfilling, it's on track, right?
It's-
So it's 2017, it's not recently or
Yeah.
anything, and they are looking at that. So imagine yourself back in 2017 reading this article, the first thing that comes to your mind will say siao.
Xiao.
Right?
Xiao.
But look at today's prices.
Yeah.
It's not. It's actually coming earlier, I feel.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't even need to. Anybody who bought sorry, I cannot say anybody. Anybody who has bought a property 3 years, 4 years, 5 years ago, we don't have to say anything. You already know you are in the money. 3 to 5 years ago, you are in the money.
Just more or less.
It's just
Just more or less.
Just, how much?
Okay, good. So, do we have any other questions?
Any other burning questions?
Any burning questions? Okay, so there's this one more burning question, but this one is not really real estate related. It's from an agent wanting to join us. So they were actually asking, right, which segment are we supposed to focus on as a brand new agent? Would you like to give your? Okay, maybe your share when you joined the trade, where you all started off.
When I first started, I did a lot of rentals.
Oh,
And
interesting.
because the money was fast, transactions were fast, and I was riding a motorbike, so I could
Right.
get from point A to point B very quickly.
And this 15 years ago.
It's about 15 years ago. 15 years ago. Yeah, and then after that, I just decided to do private condos and new launches. Okay, I guess the by and large of the answer is where to start is where you will potentially have the most referrals, your most friends or whatever.
Okay, coming to this point, right, maybe it's also very relevant, right, to ask yourself this question before you decide where to focus.
Yeah.
Do you have enough resources to really do
Correct.
your marketing?
Correct.
Because
Oh, yeah.
one thing about marketing is that today we know the cost is very high for marketing. Right?
Correct.
So if you do not have the resources, I think the basic
That's very
free marketing will be definitely on the ground, like door knock, roadshow,
Yeah.
telemarketing, and so on and so forth, which cost very little
Little to no money,
little to no money. Okay, but obviously there's a lot of effort involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is potentially a good start. But again, back to how much resources are we talking about, and you know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because whichever segment you're going in, you're fighting with people who can afford to run ads and run a lot of.
Yeah,
And
obviously.
trust me, the ads
Yeah, very.
will kill your.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't have enough resources.
So you're actually discouraging people to join, right?
No, I think, I mean, I agree with Thomas in terms of referral, the highest referral, and things like that.
Yeah.
But I feel at the end of the day, if you want to go through the process of really understanding what you really want, I think door knocking, like what I did when I first started, is very important because that sets the pace of you understanding what's on the ground.
Yep.
And then from there, you knock enough doors, you talk to enough people, you realize that, oh, you know, actually this segment of people, they need certain help. They are able to, they really need your help and how you can really add value to them.
Yep.
And then that makes it easier for you to really want to go into that segment and helping them achieve that goal. I think for me, it's really very thinking for the client.
Yep.
So at least you won't find it as a job.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
then you will keep going to your statistics, you'll keep going back and finding out. And as you go along, you will learn. Then you will be able to find out, you know, initially when I started, I'm doing a lot of HDB and I really enjoy that because what I really help, and I like that satisfaction is when they sell and buy and upgrade.
Yep.
They are really happy. Like,
Yep.
it's not just because of their friend tell them to upgrade or things like that. They really genuinely need that support, that help.
Yep. Yep.
And with the resources that we have, and of course because when we first started, no resources,
Yep.
you,
Yep.
you can't throw
Lower cost startup.
Yeah, you don't have to throw 20K a month,
Yep.
flyers and things like that. These are all the costs that's included. So to answer the question again, then probably look at what, you know, go with whoever that is guiding you, your managers or whoever, and understand what they can do that can help you help others. I think that's the very important thing.
Okay.
Because a lot of time it's just about, hey, you go and do lah.
Right.
Try lah.
So they just tell you to do, right?
They better see, you know.
Yep.
But I think the most important thing is that really find a good manager and be able to relate to him what you actually want. I've spoken to a lot of agents. They really feel jaded because they find it very transactional.
Transactional, huh?
Yeah, I think that would just be again going back to, as well, you go back to your wherever you're working previously just to get the money coming in, but you don't have the heart anymore. So I think that's my take lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to share about Nicholas is that he's very on the ground, okay, because he really, not only Donald, I mean he's really on the ground to support and to help the clients. I've seen him in action, and you know when he started off doing his TikTok, I have also watched his TikTok because I find it very funny, okay?
That's the wrong impression.
No, I would say it's unique.
It's unique
but it's
unique
funny to me because usually, you know, people will like to face the camera, right?
Shy ma.
Yeah, so maybe his uniqueness gets him to where to be that TikTok agent, but you know, he started off doing videos like, you know, facing one side where
He
you
still
don't
is
face.
one.
Really?
He's still
Still like that?
Yeah. Oh, you
No,
haven't been
some-
watching.
No, but some
He's
videos
still-
he's
Some
looking.
have,
Yeah,
some
so
have,
some he's looking in the camera, but most of his, I would say,
side view lor.
side view, right? You can only see
One
his side view.
Three-quarter view, three-quarter view.
Three-quarter view. Okay, so maybe it's a unique positioning that he wants to create. So, okay, so remember to follow us because I think you can hit that smash button once again, just a gentle reminder, because there will be a lot of follow-up in terms of the contents that we are
Yes, of
creating,
course,
right?
yes.
Every singular day, our dear friend here will have something to say.
Sorry, I'm not up to date because I've been busy with new launches. So
Yeah, so for as much as we can,
Yes.
we will definitely share a lot more to you on a bite size. Every time it's just basically 45 seconds to a minute video. So it's not going to be very draining. It's going to be very bite sized, interesting, some facts and figures where you can easily absorb. Right. So
Yeah.
this will be a good chance for us to catch up with you.